Hey guys, welcome back to the Kira and Mal gaming channel. This is my first attempt at a video essay, so bear with me. Still learning how to edit, still learning how to write, and all that fun stuff. But with that being said, we'll jump right into it. So, in the wake of microtransactions being added to Escape from Tarkov, I wanted to make this video essay talking about microtransactions in video games and where they came from, where they're at, and where they seem to be heading, and the effect they seem to be having on the video game community. It seems that every game these days has some kind of angle to monetize itself past its barrier to entry sticker price, either through an in-game cash shop for cosmetics, to being able to purchase the ability to effectively not play the game anymore. Tarkov was a beacon of hope for me in the future of gaming, a game where once you purchased it, that was it. No more money to be spent than on the Red Bull and pizza required to punch through the early wipe quest to unlock those oh-so-coveted trader levels. It reminded me of the release of a new expansion for World of Warcraft, where all were equal again at the beginning of a new expansion, a simpler time of a bygone era, I suppose. Microtransactions, from what I can remember, first began as DLCs, or downloadable content for games such as Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion, with the Shimmering Isles expansion, Knights of the Nine, and the infamous horse armor. And yes, my 12-year-old brain thought it would be a good idea to spend my allowance on the horse armor. But where did this practice come from? At first, they seem harmless. A way to get more content for your favorite game, more stories, more maps, and quests to do that the developers were not able to complete in time for the release of the original game. But lately, it seems that DLCs have become more of a crutch for development studios to squeeze more money out of their customers, and in some cases a way to charge more money over the top of the $60 to $70 price tag to complete an already incomplete, buggy, and unfinished game. Mobile games are one of the biggest culprits of using microtransactions and in-game cash shops to squeeze as many dollars out of players' wallets as they can by blocking off core game features, either by not allowing them to access them or time gating them down to an unbearably slow speed of progression. These practices have given rise to the whale, and the business practice of hunting whales has existed for well over a decade now. These handfuls of individuals that spend a ridiculous amount of money on video games, or gacha games as some call them, are what these developers depend on to continue existing in some cases. Many microtransactions are hidden behind in-game currencies, or even multiple in-game currencies where you have to purchase a currency with your money, then spend that currency to purchase another premium currency to then purchase the item or cosmetic you want. This transmutation seems to be a practice of trying to conceal from the player how much money they are spending on the game. This was extremely prevalent in games like Diablo Mobile, and is also seen in War Thunder with purchasing of Golden Eagles and then having to purchase Silver Lions to purchase vehicles and then have to pay to train the crews. Oh yeah, and that's after you've earned enough convertible research points to do so. And before that, you have to have bought enough premium time to earn those convertible research points at an achievable and acceptable pace. What I'm saying is many of these systems are designed to frustrate and confuse the player into spending more of their hard-earned money for very little gain. And all of this before we even get into the conversation of the dreaded loot box, or as I like to refer to them as legalized gambling for minors. Games like War Thunder, which I am a big fan of, is a pay-to-win microtransaction hellscape with monetization at every conceivable level. But this business model is reminiscent of mobile games such as Clash of Clans, where if your pockets were deep enough, you could effectively pay to not play the game, which to me is antithetical to the concept of gaming. Why would an individual pay to not play the game that they saw and thought would be fun? The War Thunder model is also very similar to the Star Citizen business model, or as some as Chris Robertson's detractors call it, Scam Citizen. Now, to be completely transparent with you, the viewer, I am completely coped out on Star Citizen, and I am a card-carrying member of the Concierge Club. But before you call me a scam citizen shill, I have been a backer of the project since early 2016, and at the time it was refreshing to be able to contribute directly to the creation of a game that I desired to be created. Now, does Star Citizen or its developer studios, Cloud Imperium Games, have predatory or slimy sales strategies? Absolutely. Limited time sales, limited supply sales for digitally created products that aren't even available to use yet, subscription services, or the literal definition of pay to win? Yes, absolutely it does. But as Cloud Imperium have stated, once the game is released, those products will no longer be available, so hopefully they will hold to their word. But only time will tell. Subscription services have been around since before the groundbreaking release of World of Warcraft and the paid expansion packs that came later on, which at the time felt fully justified. And I felt that I got my money's worth at least. $40 to $50 for the entire expansion of the Burning Crusade or the Wrath of the Lich King, arguably the two greatest expansions in World of Warcraft's history. But then again, there have been $60 to $70 expansions in recent memory that were less than desirable. Later in WoW's life came its in-game cash shop, which seemed to appear after Bobby Kotick and the boys at Activision bought Blizzard. At first, they were just mounts. Which, fun fact, the first mount introduced in the WoW cash shop made more money than StarCraft 2's expansion, Wings of Liberty. Shout out to Thor and Pirate Software. Go check out his stream and his upcoming game in game Heartbound. But now you can purchase everything in WoW's cash shop from max level geared and raid ready player characters of any class and faction, and you can also purchase gold, WoW's in-game currency. And for those of you who are familiar with the Blight from T, real money trading, know that being able to purchase an in-game currency like that leads to many problems, such as the invalidation of achievements and titles. On the topic, level boost and the invalidation of achievements and titles in World of Warcraft, I am also a victim of the level boost. As my income grew with my career, my time became very limited. As a side effect, I too have paid for level boost, to be completely transparent with you. Paying to have your player character level maxed out and not going through the journey of leveling and learning your class detracts from the game you paid for and are actively paying to play every month. Perhaps that is a side effect of leveling becoming a chore and not a fun journey and experience, but I digress. Perhaps that is a video for another time. At the end of the day, the feelings that these business practices evoke within myself is anger and despair. Video games should be able to stand on their own 2 feet, not only from a financial standpoint, but a gameplay standpoint as well. The Dark Souls franchise being a prime example. Banger after banger with many DLCs, but those DLCs remind me of the past. They were additive to the games themselves. A patch to an incomplete game that I already had to pay for so that the first game I bought could be completed. If a game is released in an incomplete and faulty state, then it should fail, and that's the bottom line. If a car company released a car with no wheels on it and said, oh yeah, we're gonna patch the wheels in a couple of months and charge you 33% of the car's base price for the wheels, people would lose their minds. So I will leave you with this. What can we do, or how do we protect this hobby and this pastime of ours from the slimy business practices that only seek to extract our hard-earned money after we have already paid them for the product?